Have you had Canvas for a while but no profile picture? Well, today we're going to fix that. Okay, the first thing you're going to need to do for this assignment is find a good picture of yourself. Now make sure that this picture is not a view way off in the distance. It needs to be kind of a close-up. Make sure that you're not wearing a hat. Make sure that it's appropriate. You guys know what I mean, right? Just find a good, decent photo. Once you found a photo, go ahead and open up Photoshop. In Photoshop, you can just say Create New. Doesn't really matter. We can just keep it on landscape or whatever one of these you choose. And then you can either go File and open your photo, or you can drag it in. Okay, right now I can transform my photo. That's the option that it's letting me do right now. I'm just going to leave it the size that it is and hit enter. I want to prepare my workspace, so I'm going to go to the top right. I prefer Essentials, so I'm going to click here and go to Reset Essentials. We don't need this this Learn bar here, this Learn area. Okay, on my photo, a lot of times it won't let you do things. Like say I try to I don't know, do the or the spot heal. See how it says no, you can't do that. Sometimes you have to right click on your layer and say convert this thing to a smart object. Then you got to right click on it again and say rasterize this layer. That makes it a bitmap, and that's what Photoshop likes. Okay, now that I'm all ready, I'm going to go ahead and crop my image. I'm going to click the crop option, the fifth one down, and drag the corners in. You'll notice that it has the photo broken up into thirds. Way back, a long time ago, they discovered this thing called the rule of thirds. What they discovered is that your eye naturally focuses to certain places on an image or video. Okay, well, back then it wasn't. It was like, you know, like a painting, but it still applies today. So the first and strongest place that your eye attracts to are where these lines cross. So where these thirds line cross. So notice in a lot of photos and paintings and videos, they'll actually put what they want you to focus on right here. So say that, you know, there's a superhero and he's Spider-Man and he's flying through the city using his webs. They'll usually have him placed on one of these thirds because that's where they want you to focus, is on him. Same is true for anything that you want to focus on. The second strongest place that your eye attracts to are the lines themselves. Now obviously these lines are going to disappear, but your mind naturally focuses in these areas. So say I wanted your eye to focus on a horizon, I would make sure that it was on a third line. Or maybe I want you to focus on someone standing up or a tree. I would put them on one of these lines. So with a profile picture, you want people to typically focus on your face and your eyes. So I'm going to remove some of this headspace. And then I'm going to bring up the bottom. And you usually want a photo that, you know, is at least from the waist up. And you want to crop it even higher if it's going to be a profile picture. And now it's focusing on my face, in particular my eyes. I'm going to shrink it in this way a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. You want it pretty close up because the photo's going to be really small, and if you're having a discussion with someone in Canvas or the teacher's grading and wants to know who this is that they're grading or talking to, they want to be able to see your face. Okay, so right there is good. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. Now I don't want you to go crazy with editing your photo. What you can do is you can go to image and you can go to adjustments and you can adjust things in here. The only thing that I really want you to play with is if your photo's dark, yeah, you can turn up the brightness. So I clicked on brightness and contrast and you can brighten it up a little bit. Don't go crazy on this. Say okay. Another thing you can do is you can go to adjustments and go to vibrance and bump that up a little bit, maybe between like 60 and 80. if you want your photo to be more vibrant. So do those two things. Adjust your, your light a little bit and the vibrance a little bit. Maybe the saturation a tiny bit, but don't go way overboard on these things. Don't make yourself look unnatural, like a ghost or like you've been sunburned to death. Okay, just do little adjustments to try to improve your photo. And once you've got it to where it's improved, say OK. One other thing I can do here is I can remove where this door meets the wall. It's kind of distracting having this wall right here. It's a different color than the door. The way I'm going to do that is with the clone stamp tool. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to make my brush, well, that's a decent size, but I can make it smaller or larger. I'm going to hold an Alt. I'm going to sample just below it. So I held an Alt and I clicked. And now it's going to pull from where I clicked. You can see that little crosshair is where it's actually pulling from and copying. Now I know that once I get close to my head, it's going to start picking up my head. Do you see that? It's starting to actually clone my head on there. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to hold in Alt and I'm going to sample just right of that. And I'm going to go ahead and get that. And probably would have been better if I sampled further right, like there. Okay, well, that's a little dark. Maybe I'll go about there. Okay, and then I can also come over here and do the same thing. Sample, hold Alt, sample. Okay, and this just takes a little bit of practice here. And the more you sample, like I notice, the better it turns out. Okay, so I clean that up. Say I had, like zits that I didn't want, I could go to this spot heal tool and I could, clean up areas. Didn't have any zits this day, but you could click on things that you don't want and this will kind of blend it. So there's a mole, I could get rid of that, and that mole. Okay, I could actually get rid of that button. But this just helps kind of clean up your image. So after you've cleaned up your image and made it look good, go ahead and save it. Now you need to go File, Save As. Save it as a Photoshop file in your documents. Save it as your name. Also, save it as a JPEG. This is what you're going to be submitting in Canvas and putting in as your profile picture. So you go ahead and save it. Just say OK. Now I can open up my Canvas and go to Account on the left, go to Settings, and yours might navigate a little different. Click on your profile picture and you want to upload a picture. I'm going to choose a picture. Remember where you saved it. Yours should be in your documents. I just did mine on my desktop. Now if it's on your desktop, remember it can get wiped away, so make sure it's in your documents. I just did that for convenience. Hit save. And then go into the assignment and submit it there as well. Alright, have fun with it.